And I find it so upsetting is not the right word. I'm not a Christian myself, but watching the lampooning of Christianity, which should be allowed to be done, I have no qualms with that. But if you're going to do it, at least be equal opportunity about your lampooning of religion. But as Kel points out, they wouldn't do that with Islam, which kind of makes it a moot point about, I'm taking on religion here. No, you're not. You're just going for an easy target.
I completely agree with you. And I think that no religion or ideology should be above mockery or satire. Correct. It's the inconsistency with which that seems to be applied, because have some courage. Try it with Islam. What would happen? You'd have a fatwa slapped on your head faster than Ariana Titmus can swim the 400-metre freestyle. It won't happen. But is this the right place for the mockery and satire of religion to happen when you have so many athletes coming from around the world? It's supposed to be a celebration of all these different nations, all these people with differences coming together. Why offend such a huge population of the Olympic Village, the athletes themselves and the people at home watching? For what purpose?
Because they're French. French people are obnoxious, they're superior, they're snobby, and but one thing they're not,
good food and wine.
One thing they are not is funny. French people have a terrible sense of humour. They are useless. You want to joke, you got to go north. You got to go north. Well, they offended Jesus, so I'm going to offend them. But the interesting thing about this, it's just not it's the sort of thing that a bunch of guys at the end of a season footy trip would think would be hilarious after 30 cans of VB. But the French think it's culture, because they are they are honestly terrible people. Just look at their track record. Napoleon, Emperor Maximilian, they didn't make it. Indochina, the French started the Vietnam War. How do you do that? Everyone blames the Americans. It was the bloody French. They are the biggest bunch of national basket cases.
That's why he's here, in order to even the score. Joe, you've done well.
But it is just so stupid, right? It is so stupid because the reason they say they did it, and again, this is beyond moronic, even in its intention and how they tried to carry it out, is because the IOC wanted to do something, celebrating, LGBTQ plus people or device to whatever. Now, my wife happens to work for Equality Australia. Their biggest issue at the moment is trying to get equal rights for straight and gay kids in Christian schools, right? And the Christians are scared of this, and the various churches, some are perfectly all fine with it, but some of them say, well, hang on a minute, we're not sure if those two values are aligned, or that this is part of, the cultural, the long march through our cultural institutions, and they're going to try and get us to change. Now, what sort of message, when you actually got people, drag queens dressing up as Jesus and his disciples or whatever, that is going to make every single Christian in the world think, holy crap, they really are out to get us. Yeah. They really do want to tear down what we believe in. It's not just a matter of, a nice little kid called Johnny who's gay, wants to come to school and go to mass or whatever it is. And so it actually hurts the cause far, far more. It doesn't help it at all. All it does is just blow up, get people's backs off, piss them off, and make them think, you know what, they're right. They really are out to get us. It's like prosecuting or shooting at Donald Trump. It's moronic, and it's exactly the sort of thing you would expect from the friggin' French, because they're a bunch of morons.
And it's always very good food.
They do make very good food and very good wine, but it's always the Christians, Evelyn, who come under attack in this one, because they know it's an easy target. They don't have to worry too much about what the response is going to be. The response is only going to be
turn the other cheek.
But exactly. But it's just pathetic.
It is, but I think I actually disagree with why. I don't think Christians are an easy target. I think Christians are the biggest target, which is why they always attack Christians, because Christianity is the only thing standing between people and the state. Because when you have God above government, the government doesn't become God. And I think that's why they constantly tackle it, because once you get through the Christians, it's easy to go through everybody else. Like Kel said, we are the #1 religion across the world. And just for a bit on France as well, like you mentioned, Joe, my blood ancestry would disagree that all French are morons.
Really?
However, I will just say, statistically, in France, there are over 1,000 attacks, anti-Christian attacks, every year. That's an average of about 3 per day. So this isn't something new for France. We've seen all the damage that they've done to the church across France, the fires that they've been setting in Christian Catholic churches all across the country. Not only that, France is got the highest terrorist rate in all of Europe, currently standing at, I looked at the statistics, but they're fleeting at the moment, but it's higher than any other country. They're honestly a mess. And I think the reason why is because the more that you unravel and reject Christianity, which is what built the West, the more you're going to get this pagan crap shoved in your face. And I'm sorry, I am a Christian. This did offend me. It also offended a lot of people who just want to watch the Olympics because it unites people around the world on a common interest of the enjoyment of sport. And not only that, I grew up watching the opening ceremony of the Olympics. I had a family member who was an Olympian, and so it was a very big thing that our whole family would sit around and watch and participate, and we followed my family member's career, so to speak. There's a lot of nostalgia, there's a lot of things. There is no way in absolute hell I would let any child in my family go anywhere near the Olympics after what I just saw. And isn't that sad that what's
Evelyn,
meant to bring everyone...
That's what the flag means. That's what the flag means. When a flag is flown upside down by
distress.
It's distress.
It's honestly, isn't it emblematic? Isn't that failure just so emblematic of what's going on at this Olympics? But honestly, people are saying that this whole thing that happened with the opening ceremony, it wasn't about the Last Supper. I'm sorry, it's the most famous portrait of Jesus known to mankind. You'd have to be stupid and dumb to think that it's anything else. I don't believe it. They were 100% mocking God.
Of course they
even if they weren't, what they did was absolute trash.